It's just him and me and me.
Hello and welcome back everyone. The Terminator was one of the best action sci-fi movies of the 1980s, but it was also a movie that didn't have any really good games about it. And then, like a bus, two appear at once. The Mega Drive version of Terminator was a fun game, if a trifle short. And given that most CD-based versions of existing games normally just included a CD soundtrack or some grainy FMV footage, I didn't think there would be any point in playing the CD version. And let's not forget that the Sega CD or Mega CD was a pricey add-on at the time of this game's release in 1993, priced at around £300. Then, the cost of the game, that would be almost £350 just to play the Terminator with some rubbish grainy footage and a CD quality soundtrack. But when you start the game, it's immediately obvious this game is not a beefed up Mega Drive version. This game is so much more than that. And it seems that even after the events of Judgment Day, the survivors knew how to rock, and this game has one of the very best soundtracks I have ever heard in a video game in my entire life. Playing Terminator on a Mega CD is like playing a platform run and gun game at an old school big hair rock band concert. I absolutely love this soundtrack, and in fact I even have some of these tunes now added into my working music playlist when I am busy slaving away over a keyboard. Playing this version of Terminator is not like playing a game, it's like taking part in an event, and it's amazing how the soundtrack makes such a massive difference to the game. This atmosphere needs to be sampled to be fully appreciated. But let's get back to basics and focus on the visuals for a bit. And while some elements of Terminator on the Mega CD seem a bit feeble, the overall majority of the visuals are great. The Mega CD did not add in many visual improvements to the Mega Drive, mainly because the video out was funneled through the Mega Drive and not the Mega CD. So the colour schemes are still on a par with the cartridge version of the game. But obviously the CD has capacity to hold way more data than the cartridge. And once the soundtrack was added, along with the grainy footage, the leftover data was used to hold animation frames. Now, I can't prove any of that at all, but I think it's obvious. This game has way better animation than the cartridge version. The run on Reese is incredibly fluid. And I remember seeing this on Games Master and thinking how awesome it looked. But it still wasn't enough to convince me to get a Mega CD. But credit where it's due, the animation is outstanding. Some of the enemy sprites look less impressive, and I know they are meant to be cybernetic organisms, but come on, they could have been animated a little better than what we have. There is also an impressive amount of parallax scrolling, and I do mean impressive. This is some of the smoothest parallax scrolling I have seen in a video game. It looks absolutely wicked. The explosions are one of the weaker points. They do look well animated, but they are pretty small. And that's not the only thing that's small. Some of the HKs look small. It's only the sprites that are a decent size really. Thankfully, I now get back to talking about the sound, and as you may have guessed, this was by far my favourite thing about this game. It's one thing to add in a CD enhanced track from a cartridge game, but bugger me, this soundtrack is so completely original, and the sound of it is so crystal clear. The sound of the piano and rock guitar on level 3 is so ear-splittingly good. And when you go back to 1984 and enter the Techno Noir Club, the tune in that level is just so good. It's even got samples from Michael Biehn in there. I just love this soundtrack, I really do. And I know I can't stop praising it, but it's so good. It's on another level entirely. And this soundtrack kept me coming back to this game. But it wasn't just the soundtrack that kept me coming back. The playability in the game is pretty close to the cartridge version of it. It's pretty much the same thing really. But I don't know why. I just preferred playing this version. And as awesome as the soundtrack is, I don't think that is the only reason I kept coming back to it. The gameplay is so addictive. It's packed with challenge as well. The whole game, the whole game takes about an hour to complete. And when it's finished, you just want an encore. Another shot. I did find some very annoying bits when playing the game, and some of the visuals did hamper my ability to see where I was supposed to be going, and that maybe there were just too many levels. Most scenarios had twice the amount of levels as the cartridge version, but overall, I had a real blast playing the game. The real question is though, would you buy this and a Mega CD over just the cartridge version of the game? As much fun as this game is, I just couldn't see it being good enough to justify buying a Mega CD. And at the time of the Mega CD's release, all developers were doing was pushing out 2D sprite-based games with some heavy voiceovers or grainy FMV footage or CD quality soundtracks. At least Virgin Interactive took the time to make this game different than the cartridge version. But the technological advances that were being hyped up with CD technology were not there for gamers to see, and I think this led to the reason for the failure of the Mega CD. Not only that, but even when Sega dropped the price of the Mega CD to £100, it still didn't really sell. But with the ability to emulate, you can take price and all of that other stuff out of the equation. And so I would say Terminator on the Mega CD is such a better game than the cartridge version. And I'm not sure if I've mentioned this already, but the soundtrack is brilliant. Even if you don't want to play the game, just fire it up to give it a listen. It's superb. And that was my look at Terminator on the Mega CD. play it now if you want to live, while also giving me a thumbs up or a sub. And as always, a massive thank you to all of those who have done so already. Your feedback and support really does help with the growth of the channel, and I do appreciate all of you. So thank you from me. And that's all from me, folks. Hasta la vista, baby.